Okay. Hello and welcome back to the Schmooze, everybody. And Daniel. Everybody and Daniel. I'd also like to give a shout out to Yoni Coleman. Why? Just because. We are so excited to kick off today's Schmooze. As you can see, up top and down bottom, today's topic. Look at that. We are so coordinated. Hashem is here. Hashem is there. Who are we sponsored by today, Daniel?
Today's episode, we are sponsored by Club Z, advocacy for teens, Zionism for teens. It is an amazing, amazing place for you to get educational opportunities and so much more. You can check them out on their Facebook, Instagram, and their website, of course, at clubz.org. They actually just put out an amazing video about different forms of anti-Semitism, and I highly recommend everybody go watch it. 6 forms of anti-Semitism.
I mean, there are more. Like, why just limit it to 6? But I think we're talking about the six top ones. Daniel, I don't know if you watch SNL. I don't. I think they're profoundly unfunny. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion out here. I just think that. I think they used to be funny, and then they stopped doing that. But there has been a video. I know you have it queued up. Can we show it to our viewers? Let's
make it happen.
Reporting that they vaccinated half of their population. And I'm going to guess it's the Jewish half.
Okay, so I'm sure y'all have seen that before. The question is, anti-Semitic or not anti-Semitic? Daniel, what do you think?
Why are we just limiting it there?
I don't think it's anti-Semitic.
Okay, go on.
Well, honestly, I don't think it's a funny joke either. Like I just don't. I didn't watch the entire SNL clip, so like maybe I should have done that. But I've seen their stuff like over the last 5-10 years. Not so funny. I don't know. I think it's a joke.
Okay, so it's a bad joke. Is that all? No. I think you're wrong. It's not even an opinion piece. You're wrong, as usual. But you're wrong. I'll tell you why. Tell me why I'm wrong. There's anti-Semitism. The way it works is that it's constantly morphing, right? And you should definitely cut me off because God knows how long I can go on for this. But anti-Semitism is constantly changing. So it presents in different ways. So everybody used to say like, oh, they're not talking about Jews, they're talking about Israel. Or they're not talking about Jews, they're talking about the Prime Minister of Israel. Or they're not talking about Jews, they're talking about Jews living in Judea and Samaria.
Okay.
The West Bank. So it's like, how far can you get before you're actually talking about Jews, but you're just saying you're not talking about Jews. So if you're only singling out the Jewish state, if you're only singling out the Jewish prime minister or Jewish rights to live in their ancestral homelands and not anyone else, like everyone loves talking about occupation, but only in Israel. They can't mention occupation anywhere else in the world, even though it happens all over the place. So this is just one of the.
Okay, I get it, but this is a comedy show.
Who cares?
Have you ever watched a stand-up comedian? Stand-up comedian will stand up and comedy. That's what they do.
Is that what they do?
That's what they do. They're not even allowed to sit down if they wanted to. Otherwise, all the jokes fall flat. Right? Stand-up comedians get up there and they bash everyone. That's what they do. They bash whites and they bash blacks and they bash the cops and they bash pork. Like that's not all of that.
That's not this.
I disagree. I think that this
is okay. But I'm saying realistically, it's also factually incorrect. So here's the issue.
Yeah, I agree with you that it's factually correct, but comedians don't need to be the fact checkers of history. They're comedians.
No, but realistically, they're presenting information to a very broad and uneducated audience. No, so they have a responsibility. So this is how it happens. Look at the chain reaction, right? So everybody's going to say like, oh, I saw on SNL that Jews are only giving vaccines to their own people, which is factually incorrect. And then it turns into far more anti-Semitic tropes. So realistically, yeah, and Jews also control politics here. And like this all fits into the box of Jews are spreading coronavirus and they control politics and they control banks. And we should definitely pass BDS legislation and we should sanction Israel and we should boycott Israel. Like this is how it plays in. So while I'm not sure that his methodology and his intention was anti-Semitic by nature, although it's a terrible joke and I think it's inappropriate, but like they have a responsibility to not spread such information.
I don't know if they have that responsibility. That's
I did a post yesterday on Facebook. I should really put it on Instagram.
I did not see it.
Anyways, it was pointing out how SNL has a long history of crossing the line and having to apologize for what they said. And yeah, you can just chalk it up. Oh, it's comedy. They don't need to be sensitive. They don't need to be factually correct. But realistically, they do have a responsibility as they're watched by millions of people. So everyone Unless they put a disclaimer on the bottom, like you should really never believe any of this stuff, which they would never do. Like all of their news stories are half true.
So I do agree. Like one of the problems is that I think that they've just been more and more making political comments through their humor, and that really is, I think, problematic. One, like they've left like no one's gonna watch. I'm trying to think of just any comedian, and I'm blanking.
Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert.
No, not even Jimmy Kimmel. Like a stand-up comedian. Who's it?
Brian. I was going late night.
What?
I was going late night.
So let's say Jimmy Kimmel. They're not going to watch him and think politically. But SNL has become, with all the White House stuff and all the the Trump and all the presidential impersonations, they've become more and more political. So maybe you're right, but I still think I don't know if we should cry wolf here. Like we should cry wolf when there's actual people who are intentionally being anti-Semitic and are saying anti-Semitic things to incite more anti-Semitism and possible violence, aggressions, or microaggressions. I don't know if this is this. I'm curious, though. What our viewers think. Do you agree with Daniel?
Let us know.
Do you agree with me?
You definitely don't. That's like any
well, you know what? We'll find out in the comments. Curious what you guys think. Was this anti-Semitic or was it not? It's been great schmoozing with you, Daniel.
Great schmoozing with you, Rabbi Akiva.
High five.
What? Okay, we're done.
I was just saying high five. I wasn't actually saying we should.